In this class, we're talking about how uh, the teachings through Djwahl Khul through Alice A. Bailey, how his various teachings are in harmony with what I have written and taught about the molecular relationship. And I've come to the conclusion that when he talks about group initiation, he's really talking about the molecular relationship. And he tells us, let me remind you that he tells us that the hierarchy has been looking forward to producing group initiation for centuries, millennia, and it hasn't been successfully consummated. The closest that we've come was the day of Pentecost, but the 12 apostles were never replaced, and it hasn't been successfully anchored upon the earth. And he says that when this does happen, he says it will be a tremendous event. And do you have any idea what he compares the event for in importance? He says this when group initiation is consummated, it will be an event so important, he compares it to something really big that has happened in the past. Does any student of the Bailey writings here have any idea what that past event was that he compared it to?
That'll be a nuclear explosion.
More important than that.
More than that?
Yeah, really.
May I make a guess? I'm not a student of the writings, but may I guess the controlling the ability to control fire?
More important than that.
Life in the human kingdom.
Oh yeah, you hit it pretty much. He says it will be the biggest event since the manifestation of the human kingdom on the earth.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so that's pretty big.
That's big. That's big, big, really big.
We didn't have the manifestation of the human kingdom on the earth, we would not be here now, would we?
We wouldn't even be here.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big event. So he says when this group initiation is consummated, in other words, when the molecular order is consummated and anchored upon the earth, it will be really big as an event as the manifestation of the human kingdom itself. And so, people read the Bailey writings and see group initiation. Oh, it'd be kind of nice to have group initiation, but they don't really grasp the importance of it. But here he says it's extremely important as the manifestation, because what happened when the humans came here, we had four kingdoms: the mineral, vegetable, animal, and human. Four kingdoms. The fourth kingdom come in here, and manifesting self-consciousness was a big deal. The only thing that can compare to it is the fifth kingdom manifesting here, which is the kingdom of God, composed of people like the Christ and the masters of wisdom that are associated with him. When people of that caliber and initiation can walk the earth and mingle with us, as when we manifested, we could walk the earth and mingle with animals. The people that are achieved the consciousness of a master soul can mingle with regular humanity. That will be a pretty big deal. But it won't happen all at once. It's going to happen over a period of time. First of all, there will be one group that will make the manifestation, the link between heaven and earth, and then a second group, and then a third, and then a fourth, until this higher consciousness permeates the entire planet will be the final goal. So that's something to look forward to.
Well, it'll be like an explosion that shatters the door that separates the human and the fifth kingdom. I would think, some magical, mystical epiphany event where, there would be a meeting of the minds between us and masters of wisdom in a real way.
Yeah, and the closest thing we have to it is the day of Pentecost, and it was kind of an explosion of fire because it says fire appeared over all the heads of those that were participating. And then Peter went out and he talked to the people that were gathered around because there was a great sound of a rushing of a mighty wind, it says, and everybody heard it. And nearby they were having meetings from gatherings from many different nations, and thousands of people came to see what that was. And Peter went out and talked to them, and they all heard him in their own language. And DK brings up this event, and he says the message of that is that when group initiation happens, we will be able to communicate without words. We will be able to communicate to people in any language through mental telepathy, the way that Peter did. And that's the only example we have in the scriptures or any writings of that happening. But this will be common when group initiation becomes common. And so that's something to look forward to. He tells us, he just makes a bare mention of the things that most people are impressed of from the days of Jesus. Most of them are impressed with the healing type miracles, which was really great. But kind of DK just mentions them in passing as if we will have greater power to heal, but it doesn't go into any detail. But he does put a lot of emphasis on this developing sensitivity to other minds will be the most important quality. And speaking of healing, we'll go over here some of the things we look forward to, the qualities that are needed to make this happen. The healing energy of the spiritual hierarchy cannot flow through the group if there is disharmony and criticism. The first work, therefore, of any group of healers is to establish themselves in love and to work toward group unity and understanding. And this, he puts tremendous emphasis on this working toward union as a group. And we're seeking to establish a group of 24. And so to get even 3 people really in harmony where they can agree on all important matters, it's quite difficult even with 2 or 3. It's even difficult in a marriage. How many marriages do you have where the husband and wife agrees on just about everything? Yeah, not now. As far as personality things, that's different, like the food you like or the sports team you like. That's not a big deal. He says on these personality differences, the best thing to do with them in group activity is just ignore them, as if they don't exist while you're doing the group work. But he does point out that what's important is basic principles are really important for group members to see harmoniously as one. And this can only happen when all the members of the group have a degree of soul contact, because one soul will always agree with another soul on basic principles. Now, when we're what we are here in this world, we're a partial extension of the soul, and there's much more differences between us here in this realm than the realm we go to after death, where we are reunited with our higher self. And so there's very little difference there. But when we're projected down here, the differences are much more pronounced. This is why we, as individuals, must become in attunement with our higher self, our souls, which are in tune with other souls and can see harmoniously as if they're looking through the same eyes. You know, what's interesting about near-death experiences, so a lot of them talk about getting a life review. And they say they all say the same thing about the life review, that when they're looking, when the life review, they see the effect they had on other people. So if they said something harmful or did something harmful to another human being, they say they can feel the effect on that other person in the life review as if they were that person. And they're very amazed when they go through this process of how they felt it as if they were that person. So if you call somebody a hurtful name, or maybe steal from them or something like that, and they feel betrayed, or have an affair on your spouse and they feel betrayed, in the life review, you go through what that person actually felt as if you were that person. And this way, because one soul sees another soul in this manner, there's harmony. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And there's perfect communication. Here we have imperfect communication, imperfect understanding of each other. And being one is much more difficult. And the key to being one is to transcend this lower personality with all its biases, ascend to the consciousness of spirit, where souls see as one with total understanding of each other. And this is what he really stresses will be the tremendous benefit of this group initiation, that when the group initiation occurs, they'll be able to communicate without words, just have a flow of intelligent understanding and circulation among all the members of the group. They'll be like one life. And matter of fact, I've even taught that they will manifest an actual entity that occupies that one life. And it'll be like the creation of life, in a way, you could say, when the first molecules are created.
Well, he says that the revelations that are awaiting us cannot be given to just one individual, but it has to be given to a group. The Aquarian age requires that a union of souls transcendent receive these new revelations, or they won't be sent.
Yeah, people will still get their individual inspiration and revelation, but when the group initiation happens, it'll be much easier for us to receive. What it'll do is the group making this spiritual contact and spiritual link will remove the barriers between heaven and earth. So right now, a disciple really has to focus to be able to contact the spiritual realm and get inspiration from on high, so to speak. It just doesn't come on demand very easy. You have to really focus and maybe you have to spend a lot of time contemplating, and then maybe sometimes after years, you'll have an inspiration finally come that you've been searching for a long time. But when the power of the group as a whole, it's like joining two souls. You don't get twice the energy; you get 4 times the energy. Joining 3 souls, you don't get 3 times. You
get 9.
It multiplies geometrically. So 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. It really amplifies, and so this power to penetrate the spiritual realms is will be greatly increased. Okay, he also says this next, as the rapport becomes more firmly established, no fundamental divergences of opinion can appear. Now he says no fundamental. That doesn't mean, like I say, you can't have different sports teams or different opinions on different things, but he says fundamental principles you see as the same. He says this is essential. And the aims of the soul and the personality blend and fuse. Okay, the soul and the personality. Your personality is the lower self that we see among us, got a bunch of lower selves gathered here. The higher self, we can't see with our physical eyes, but we can sense it internally. And these must fuse and blend. And he says the objectives before the disciple and the master become identical, and the group life conditions the service rendered by both of them. The needed fusion can always take place among disciples when they meet on the level of the soul. So we must meet on the level of the soul, and then we can be one. And as I've taught this for many years, and I had a lot of feedback from it, from people that are telling me that they think it's impossible for a group of 24 people to become one in the way that it's taught here. But it is difficult. This is why it says even the masters have worked with humanity to try to make this happen, and they haven't happened yet. That shows how, and the Tibetan says, yes, it will be difficult, but it will happen. And it is difficult for not 2 people to become one, extra difficult for 7 people, extra difficult for 12 or 24. But when we get just, I believe we will have some pretty great spiritual experiences with lower numbers than 24. But 24, I believe, is the magical number that will really create the transcendence between heaven and earth. Okay, there's another quote here. Each person in such groups has to learn to work in close mental and spiritual cooperation with all the others. And this takes time, given the present point of evolutionary development of world aspirants. Each of us has to pour forth love on all, and this is not easy. Okay, like old Curtis over here, sometimes he may irritate you a little bit, and you think, it's kind of hard to love him right this moment.
Who thinks that?
Not me.
Yeah.
I'm a lovable guy, you know.
You
Hey,
are lovable.
to know me is to love me. You know? Thank you, Adam. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have to pick on somebody else. That's Curtis. He's my nephew, so I figure I can pick
He
on
picks on me all the time. I let him get away with all kinds of stuff.
him. But then you look at him a second time and you think, well, look at all the good things the guy is up to. So, he's as deserving of my love as anybody else in the group. And we look at Marnie over here, and she's just easy to love. She's so cuddly, you feel like grabbing her and giving her a big hug. Same thing with all the females here. But Ed over here, maybe not, but don't feel so much like giving him a big hug. He's kind of getting on in age here, but he's still lovable, just like the rest of us. So he says, this is actually hard and not easy to pour forth love to all, especially if you have a disagreement. Now, just bring up something from the political atmosphere of what's going on the media today, and start talking about it and see if you can still love everybody in the group after the conversation is over. And that's a pretty good test on this day. So he says this is not easy to have this flow of love going around so unity can be achieved. Each has to learn to subordinate his own personality ideas and his personal growth to group requirements. For at present, some have to hasten their progress in certain directions. Some must slow it down as a service to others. So that's interesting. So some people, everybody in the group wasn't all at the same stage. So as we're working as a group together, some people we got to encourage a little bit to move forward, and others may have to delay some of their own progress to help give a helping hand to those that need to be moved forward.
Well, I just want to say one little thing. Can I? Would that be okay?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, sometimes you have to, thanks to Soph, you're awesome. You have to create a space for those that are just learning to express themselves and not walk over them. I have a tendency to do that sometimes, so I'm learning that. And that is let other people talk and show where they have knowledge and information. So you really have to create a space out of being very sensitive to where other people are and what they want to say, and let them express themselves. I think there's nothing more important than the ability to express how you feel about something. And so, you may not agree with them, but you have to just shut up and let them talk.
Yeah. Good.
I let Tyler talk. Go ahead, Tyler.
I don't have anything to say right now. Thank you, though.
Okay, I guess we can move on.
Okay.
Okay.
Each has to learn to subordinate his own personality ideas and his personal growth to group requirements. For at the present, some will have to hasten their progress in certain directions. Some must slow it down as a service to others. This process will take place automatically as the group identity and integration becomes dominant thought in group consciousness, and the desire for personal growth and spiritual satisfaction is relegated to a secondary place. And you notice in most of the groups that you see in circulation, people are really interested in the personal growth, which is fine. He says the disciple has to go through that period where he's focusing on his personal growth to get to the point where he at least passes the first initiation. And then after that, he can move on to focusing on group initiation. And on group initiation, the focus is more on the group progressing as a group rather than progressing as an individual in the group.
That's why there are the 14 rules, 14 for the aspirant and 14 for the initiator into the group.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I was thinking I probably might be a good idea to make assignments, and what I'm going to do the next couple of weeks is give somebody here a quote from the Bailey writings, and for them to contemplate it and give us what they think about it. Who would volunteer to do this? Not Curtis, because he's already doing plenty.
I already do that, yeah.
Adam was raising his hand, and I'm not just saying that. He really
Adam
does.
wants, I know Adam wants to.
You want to do it, Adam?
Make Adam do it.
Yeah, I'll be the goat. Let's go.
Okay.
All right.
I'll send you something to contemplate and see what you come up with then. How's that sound?
Perfect. You want me to take the whole class, right?
Oh, please do.
I'm kidding.
Take whatever you need to explain it, and then I'll take what's left over.
No, I was kidding.
That's funny.
Okay, my friends, anything else anyone wants to bring up? We don't have time to go into additional quotes, but there's quite a bit of material here to cover.
Did you include some of that in the molecular chat or in the, I saw you had an entry there that was quite lengthy. Does that have some of these quotes in it?
I'm writing a series on it. I just posted today the second installment on the molecular group.
Does that include what you covered today?
No, not exactly. The lessons I'm giving are a little bit different order than what I'm posting, but when I'm done posting, I'll have covered most of the stuff we talk about here. And
will you address the necessity of having a defense plan to defend the molecule? I have a feeling that the song is not enough. There need to be a physical force of defense.
Yeah, well, that would be a good subject to talk about next week. Why don't you bring that up next week when we get together? And in other words, when a step toward the light is made by a group, it draws forth enemies that seek to destroy it. Is that the problem that you're thinking of there?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And that generally happens. So how do we prevent its destruction? Like when the day after the day of Pentecost, the apostles went forward and they were all killed, and the group initiation came to an end for 2,000 years.
Yes.
A short endeavor during Camelot.
You have to be wise
And
and harmless as doves.
Right. And I'm saying that the Song of the 144,000 is a very good tool, but it's not enough. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, we'll continue and talk about that the beginning of next class. And until then, my friends, have a good week and keep centered in the higher parts of your nature. May the Spirit be with you all.
Amen.